earlier today, I recorded the Record Celtic podcast with Chris Sutton, which is out there if you want to give it a listen. He had some thoughts on this matter as well, about Andy Robertson, 32 in March. If Celtic could get a deal done for him, he's out of contract at the end of the year. Is that a no-brainer for you, really?
Well, it's complicated, isn't it? Because in order to get a contract in front of Andy Robertson that would make sense for him to sign, other than just if it was a purely emotional pull of Celtic, you're going to have to offer him a contract which is very similar in numbers to the one that you gave to Kieran Tierney.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the two players having the same problem of who plays left, who's your first pick. And if one of them's not first pick, you're paying him a lot of money to be sitting as a second choice left back. So I can see it. I know Andy Robertson, obviously, his background is Celtic. I know that he was he released by Celtic, wasn't he? So this is a nice way of squaring the circle for him at the end of his career. I also think he's been pretty shabbily treated at Liverpool this season. So
yeah, not been treated well, yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me at all. Although I see now that finally Arne Slot has realised that he's his best bet at left back, and seems to be putting him back into the team. I think Liverpool fans, almost to a man, would agree that should have been done weeks and weeks and weeks ago. So, his situation is a fluid one at Liverpool right now, isn't it? Would it surprise you if Liverpool kind of if he kind of reclaims that jersey? Would it surprise you if Liverpool put a contract in front of him to keep him? No, it wouldn't.
No.
Would he want to sign it if he thinks he's going to get phased out? Again, there's going to be another attempt to phase him out next season. I don't know. I don't know is the answer, but I do know it'd be a difficult situation for Celtic having two left backs, both getting paid top Premier League dollar for the one position.
Yeah, and plus, I still hope and think Kieran Tierney can get back to the rampaging, blistering, explosive Kieran Tierney that we know and love. But he's not the greatest start to the season, and as I say, Robertson getting on a wee bit. You're going to have your top two earners, both left backs, maybe slightly past their best. I just don't know if it makes the most sense, as mad as that sounds.
No, but I would, I don't know if it makes sense in terms of, as you said, both players entering into the sort of the final phase of their careers. Although, I mean, that's a bit. Kieran Tierney's only, what, 28, 29 just now?
28, aye.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's got some miles in the tank. Andy Robertson, that little bit older. I don't know. I don't think it makes. Listen, if I'm the manager and I can get the both of them into my squad and I'm all day long, I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure financially it makes a lot of sense for Celtic, that one. To as I said to you, be two of the biggest earners at the club, and they're both competing for the same position.
Yeah. In the comments, Sniper says Tierney's had too many injuries for that to happen, and Craigie says Tierney's past it. His injuries ain't helped him over the past year or so. And our old friend Gianni says, I think Robertson's moving back to get to Newton Mearn's finest Italian. We can't confirm or deny that. The other kind of Celtic stuff that I wanted to get your take on, Keith, regarding obviously the managerial search, since you've been away over the weekend, there's a new favourite at the top of the odds. I think it's still Wilfred Nancy. Knutson is in there at second as well. I mentioned the Celtic pod with Chris Sutton. He said to me today that he really hopes Martin O'Neill doesn't stay on or isn't asked to stay on because
Why?
he's that worried. He says he's that worried about O'Neill's legacy in charge of Celtic, and he doesn't make Celtic favourites for the title. Is that a worry that you would share? I mean, to put it into context, I said back to him that I really have loved seeing Martin O'Neill back. We've talked about how it's like you jumped in a DeLorean to go 20 years ago. I think he's loved being back. I think a lot of Celtic fans would like to think there's another trophy for Martin O'Neill, maybe even another league title. I mean, where do you stand on it?
I think he started to look every day of his 73 years last week in Europe. I think that was a bit of a crash landing, wasn't it? After the dream way that it started up with back-to-back wins, knocking knocking Rangers out of the League Cup semi-final at Hampden. It was dream-like scenario stuff for Celtic and for Martin O'Neill. It felt like this walk down memory lane. It was romance etched all over it. I think the European experience last week was a sore one,
Mm.
and it maybe kind of unclouded a few misty eyes in terms of the reality. And,
But
and the reality
sorry,
is that,
sorry to jump in, Keith, but what is that? Is that on O'Neill though? I mean, Celtic just not got the great squad at the minute. I mean, I
yeah,
don't.
no, but it looked, it felt to me as if he looked quite tired,
Aye,
as if there was a strain on him, and there will have been.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think that probably kind of cleared a few heads, and it will have made Celtic realise it's actually, there's a duty of care here. You can't expect this guy to, you know, go full pelt, for the next 6 or many months it is to the end of the season. European matches, I mean, it's a tiring existence
Yeah.
for a young guy. Um, so I kind of wonder if Celtic. I've also had this. I'm a bit in between two kind of stones with this, because there is part of me thinks how satisfying would it be for Celtic supporters to see Martin O'Neill lead his team back to Hampden for that cup final, having
Mhm.
knocked Rangers out. But that's probably the sentimentality getting the better of us. Anyone that thinks that, because really there is an onus now. Celtic, whoever the man is, identify him, have your talks, get it sorted. If there has to be a delay for whatever reason, then the delay lasts so long as the delay lasts. But I don't think it's reasonable to expect Martin O'Neill to stay on now for the full season. I think that'd be a stretch. Um, but at the same time, for old time's sakes, what a story it would be as well for Martin O'Neill to go back and pick up a trophy at Hampden before Christmas.
In the comments,
Astonishing.
William says, well, it doesn't always work out. Clubs should be employing a manager who they hope will be there 3-4 seasons to build a team, by which time he could be 77. It's too old, I'm afraid. And as Mark points out, he doesn't want O'Neill to stay purely because we need a new manager in for the January window. And that is the thing. Celtic need major surgery in the January window, if it's even possible. In January, they need, I mean, certainly, in my opinion, 2 or 3 serious incomings in January.
Yeah, but I agree with that. Of course, the last window was such a bin fire that they really need to get the recruitment spot on in a difficult point. The January sales are not easily negotiated. But I'm not sure. Look, I might be wrong here. Mark might help me out. You might help me out. Whoever is the manager, do you think it's going to make any difference to the players that Celtic recruit?
Good point.
Or do
Very
you
good
think
point.
that Celtic have got a recruitment department which will identify players and just sign them anyway
Well, we
without?
actually we had a comment last night, Keith, that I was keen to get your take on. It was written in, and look, I felt it went a wee bit far, but I'll repeat myself because I genuinely thought, I wonder what Keith's take on that is. It's from Eddie. He says, looking at Simpson, Pusey, Osmond, Trusty, even Engels getting a game again, it's fair to suggest Rodgers was quite happy sabotaging Celtic's season in order to win his petty argument with the board. I can't see any other reason why such capable players were given such limited playing time under him this season. And it did make me think, when you look at those players that have come in, maybe they really weren't his signings at all. And that's why they didn't get a look in. I don't know.
I think there'll probably be an element of that he for whatever reason decided there were players that were being signed that he, despite what Dermot Desmond's 1 o'clock statement said, uh, that he wasn't. I don't think he was endorsing. He can't have been endorsing, because he was using phrases like, "This is a club sign. This is kind of an investment sign."
Mm-hmm.
And he clearly felt, rightly or wrongly, and in some cases you're seeing players that the performance level would suggest that it's slightly better than Brendan Rodgers thought they were capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's what I'm saying to you. I don't know if it matters who the manager is at Celtic, whether it's Martin O'Neill or Knutson or anybody.
You're
Um,
probably right.
I think the recruitment department will work at the recruitment department's own behest and own pace and identify players that it feels are appropriate signings. I'm not sure, and obviously that's what's led to the kind of fallout and the fact that Brendan Rodgers is no longer there because he obviously believed that the manager needed to be given more of a say in the identity of the signings that were being made. I think that's clear and obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. I said there that Celtic need a lot of incomings in January.